Hello and welcome to How to Automotive. In today's video, we're going to go from this to this using this. So over the years, I've gotten a lot of questions on how to clean an engine bay without, shorting anything out or causing any problems. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, and we're going to do that with using some basic tools and some basic cleaners. So come with me and we'll get started. No matter if you're working on a super dirty work truck like this and you need to clean the engine up, or if you've got a daily driver or a show car that you need to clean up, we're going to show you how to do that in today's video. So it's some basic tools and some basic products to do that. So I wanted to let you know that this video is sponsored by GUNK. I did partner up with them. They have some of the best engine degreasers and cleaners on the market, so that makes it perfect for this video. All right, to clean your engine bay, you're going to need some basic tools. So right here I have a parts washing brush. This gets down in there in those crevices and able to agitate the dirt and grime and get that off. Like I said, an assortment of brushes. This is an old tire brush to get in there and clean everything up. I also have nylon brushes. Old toothbrushes work really well, and then also little wire brushes work well for like aluminum parts and stuff like that. So you want to have yourself an assortment of brushes. I got some wipes here to wipe down sensitive stuff such as sensors and stuff like that. So we're going to use the GUNK wipes right here, the degreasing wipes, and we're going to clean parts like that. I got some disposable paper towels that I'm going to use to wipe things off. Also, you might want to have an assortment of rags that you can use. Be prepared to throw them away though. And then I also have some microfiber cloths to wipe down like hoods and painted surfaces. That way we don't scratch those surfaces. Right here, what you see right here is an environmental absorbent mats to put underneath the car. That way we don't get stains and stuff on the concrete. And also when we're all done, we can dispose of this according to your local areas. Hazardous disposal, because we are going to get oils and stuff on this material. And then I got an assortment of cleaners here. So depending on what you're working on, if you've got something that's all purpose like this one here, where you can clean plastic and metal surfaces, or if you got something tough like some oil, a car that's leaking oils and stuff like that, we got the original formula right here. And then also we got the foaming formula here. This one's pretty cool. You got different formulas for different car needs and your cleaning needs. And then a few other basic tools you're going to want to have is something like compressed air to blow the engine out, blow the water out, that type of situation. If you don't have that, you can also use something like a leaf blower. They work awesome. We're not going to use anything fancy like pressure washers. We're just going to use the regular garden hose with a little spray nozzle to clean the engine and rinse everything down. We're going to let the cleaners do the hard work for us. So we're going to go from this dusty engine to this. We're going to turn our daily driver from this to this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of pre-cleaning, and then we're going to do a little engine prep so we don't get water and degreasers in areas, sensitive areas where we don't want it. So I'm going to go over a few of those things right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to blow the engine bay off. So there's a ton of grime and dirt on this particular vehicle here. I'm going to use some compressed air, leaf blower, something like that, and blow as much of the dirt off. The reason why I want to do that is I don't want, when I spray the degreasers on it, I don't want it to cake up and build up a bunch of grime. If I can blow off a bunch of that dirt before I use the degreaser, I think it'll be much more efficient. Another thing I wanted to point out is the engine is lukewarm. It's not hot engine. It's not a cold engine. I ran it for a few minutes to get it warm. That way, when we spray the degreasers on it, it works a little better. It works a little more efficiently. I'm also in the shade. I'm under a canopy here. And the reason why I do that is I want the degreasing formulas to be on the engine for a certain amount of time and soak in there. I don't want the sun to dry it out. And if the engine is too hot, it'll dry those products out too, and it won't be as efficient. So we want to leave it, so we want to spray the degreasers on there, and we want the engine to soak for a while and let the formulas break the grease and grime down, and then makes it easy to clean it off. My favorite tools to do that is with the air nozzle here. I've hooked up to an air compressor. I like the ones with the long snout in there. That allows you to get down deep in the crevices of your engine, or in the areas like back in the corners back here, and blow things out and get as much dirt out as you can. So we're going to do that now. We're just going to blow as much of the engine stuff out and go work in all the little crevices and just work our way around the engine and try to blow off all the leaves and stuff that build up in the cowling and just do a thorough blow. If you don't have one of these, leaf blower does an amazing job as well. You can also agitate the dirt and stuff if it's built up on it like it is on this truck, this old farm truck here, and kind of just go over it and agitate the areas and try to break some of that dirt free before we spray the chemicals on there. This works really well for getting a lot of this dirt and stuff off. So take a little bit of time and just, you know, get your brushes out and get them to work. This is all dry, no chemicals, nothing. We're just dry cleaning it right now, and then we'll blow it back off again. And it's just doing this, you'll see a big difference. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Just from this little master cylinder here, you can see it's caked up with sand and dirt and stuff like that. And we'll brush it off, and then I'll blow it off, and I'll show you the difference. So you can see how caked up it is. So I'm going to spend about 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm just going to go over some of the bad areas and just kind of, you know, go over it with the brush, dry brush. And then we'll go on after that to protecting some sensitive areas. Like this particular one is missing the cover for the fuse box. These engines are made to get wet. They're not made to be 100% waterproof. So a little water on the engine is not going to kill anything or hurt anything. You don't want to super douse or like flood out the alternator or anything like that. So we're going to take some precautions. So one of the things we're going to do is make sure that all our dipsticks and stuff like that are fully closed. That way we won't get water in the oils, master cylinders, transmission, power steering, that type of stuff. So we'll go around and we'll make sure that all the caps are there. If not, we'll take precaution matters, you know, covering things up with plastic or with rags or something like that to prevent, you know, water going into that stuff. But the electrical connectors and stuff itself, they're designed to be to get wet, but we don't want to force water in them, so we're not going to use any pressure waters, and we're going to try not to use high pressure jets on the squirter either. We're going to just lightly rinse things and wash it up as we go. One of the biggest concerns of washing an engine is causing electrical shorts. So one of the best ways to prevent that from happening is to actually disconnect the battery. So without the electricity flowing through anything, it will not short out, and then you can thoroughly dry everything after you're done washing and cleaning the engine to prevent the shorts from happening. So we're going to disconnect the battery now, and then we'll continue to add our cleaners and degreasers and clean the engine. With the battery disconnected, it's the perfect time to also clean the terminals and do that type of stuff and maintenance and stuff. One of the biggest areas that usually needs cleaning on trucks and stuff is the battery trays itself. So acid and stuff will leak from the battery, go down to the tray. So you might want to fully remove the battery. It also gives you more access to the engine bay. So that might be something you want to consider. It usually has a hold down like you see here. You take that bolt out and then you're able to lift it out. And now you have more room and you can get in there and clean that bottom tray. So like you see on my BMW here, there is an awful lot of plastics. This particular car is not too bad as far as dirt and grime. I pretty much only use this at the autocross track and a little bit around town driving. So if your vehicle is like my BMW here and it has a lot of plastic, as you can see, a lot of plastic covers and everything's made out of plastic, you don't want to just use any cleaner on it. So you want to make sure you use a formula that is safe to use on plastic. The multi-surface degreaser here is perfect for that. You can see right here, if you read right here, it's safe for plastics. Same thing with your foaming formula. The multi-surface engine degreaser, I would use more if it's more, you know, like a saturated, dirty engine. And then the foaming situation would be like, as you can see, my engine here is pretty clean, not too bad. So I'm going to use the foaming one on here. So I'll blow it off like we did the truck, wipe down any sensitive areas. I'll protect stuff like the alternator, and then I'll spray the foam on it and then rinse this off after we're done. Another factor you might want to consider is you may want to remove engine covers if need be to clean different areas on your engine. So this particular engine, you have to pop the oil cap off. Make sure you reseal your cap. That way you got more access to the engine bay and you can clean all this stuff up. And then you can also clean this separately, you know, with a water hose and a good brush and clean that up. So this is all going to depend on how hard you want to work and how clean you want your engine bay. So like this farm truck here, I just want to clean it up. The main reason why I want to clean it up is it's got some oil leaks and stuff like that, and I'm going to take the engine apart soon. And with a clean engine, there's less likely for debris and stuff to fall inside the engine when we take like the intake manifold off or stuff like that. Less likely for dirt and debris to go in there. Also, it makes just for a much nicer job to clean and work on with the engine clean. So it makes you know, finding the oil leaks and stuff that much easier too. So I'm just going to do a mild detail on this one here. So I'm not going to spend a crazy amount of time, you know, with the brushes and stuff and getting in there. But I wanted to show you the techniques and what you can do just with dry cleaning. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some precautions. I'm going to put some plastic and rags and stuff over sensitive areas such as the alternator, like my fuse box over there. I'm going to cover that up. My caps are all there. My dipsticks are all pushed in. That way we don't, you know, get water in anything. And then when it comes to areas that you want to clean but you don't want to get water and stuff in it, that's where the wipes, the degreasing wipes come in handy. So like say, for instance, this fuse box here. I'm missing the cover, but if I wanted to clean this up and I don't want to spray direct cleaners on here and I don't want to spray water on here because it's a fuse box, it's also a little module inside there and stuff. So that's where the wipes come in handy. So you would use this to clean these type of areas and get in there and clean everything up using the wipes. So all the sensitive areas, you don't want water, use the wipes. It works great for cleaning stuff like this up. Like I said, all the sensitive areas with sensors and stuff like that where you may or may not want water, use the wipes. So on an engine bay like this where it's pretty clean, it doesn't really need a whole detailing. The wipes work great for that quick, you know, just get that quick little layer of dust off so you can wipe it down and get that dirt and grime off. If you notice on the wipes, there is a smooth side and a rough side. So the rough side's, you know, for scrubbing and the smooth side's for wiping down. On my BMW here, I just covered up the alternator here with a trash bag. Make sure it's, the water's not going to run directly into it. So on a basic engine like this, I'm going to use the foaming spray right here. I got the alternator protected. I'm not going to use a bunch of cleaners in the computer areas and stuff like that. I'm going to spray the whole engine down, wait a few minutes, and then we're going to rinse it all off, and that's it. Now, if you like shine to your vehicle, they have a shine product that you spray on afterwards. So you would rinse it off, let it dry out, and then you would apply the stage 2, which is the shine product, and then it's going to add a little bit of shine to your plastic, your plastics and your rubber hoses and stuff like that. So on my daily car right here, I'm going to add a little shine like that. So we're going to shake the can up, like the instructions say, and just spray everything down. You want to try not to get it on painted surfaces. And then we're just going to let it do its job and soak in and let the degreasing formula go to work. And then after that, we'll rinse it off. On this particular engine, pretty much everything is sealed on it. There's not much as far as so we're going to let that foam sit on here for about 15 minutes. To keep it out of the direct sunlight, I'm going to close the hood, let it rest for about 15 minutes, and then we'll rinse it off. Meanwhile, while the BMW is setting up, I'm going to start cleaning the truck and start spraying the all-purpose degreaser on this particular vehicle. And I'll lightly miss the alternator, and then I'll wipe it down and then I'll cover it up before I spray it off with water. So I'm going to put a heavy dose of all-purpose cleaner pretty much all over the engine bay and let it sit for about 10-15 minutes as well. Now with the cleaner sprayed on there and the super bad areas, I'm going to get my nylon brushes, my wire brushes. So wire brushes you can use on hard aluminum and steel parts like this, and then nylon brushes you want to use on like plastics and stuff like that. So nylon soft brushes on that, or you can use like your tire brushes, whatever you got, and get in there and start cleaning and let the cleaners do their jobs. But the super bad areas, you want to get in there with some type of brush and agitate it, and then you keep spraying it as needed and then work the bad areas. Since the truck is so dirty, I went ahead and switched over to the original formula here. And just sprayed everything down. So I'm avoiding spraying directly on the electrical connectors, but I'll spray right next to it, like the main bodies of things. And if you're super worried about it, you can spray it directly onto the rag and then wipe it in there. And then you can start wiping everything down. Areas such as like an ignition coil, whatever, you can spray the cleaner onto the rags and wipe it down. That way the formula is not being, forced into the electrical connector. And just let everything soak in. And the longer you let it set, at least 10-15 minutes, the more it'll break the grease and grime down and do a good job of cleaning it. So the secret to this is just to get in there and good old elbow grease and actually start wiping things down and touching everything. And that is the key to getting it super clean and super detailed, is to actually get in there. Now I got my hose set to a light rinse, and I'm just going to rinse everything off and just kind of try to stay away from the protected areas, such as the computer over there. I'll just wipe that down. The rest of the stuff, I'll just gently rinse. And then after that, I'm going to switch to compressed air. Now, if the underhood of yours is dirty too, you can spray the cleaner on there and use a soft brush and clean the underhood. And in this area here, you might want to wipe with the microfiber towels. Here's the important part, is we thoroughly dry it. So I'm using the shop air or a leaf blower. I'm going to dry everything right away. I'm not going to let it sit there after we rinse it. I'm going to immediately start drying it and spend 15-20 minutes blowing the air in all the crevices, all the belts area in there, where the sensors are, everything, and make sure it's 100% dry before we hook up the battery. After using the shop air, I use the rags and just wipe down everything and get off the water spots, that the sun dried it, and make everything nice and clean. If you can do this in the shade, it's better for sure, but I only have one shade spot to do this, but so you don't get water spots and stuff. So you just want to make sure everything is dry. Just blow it out with shop air and just keep blowing it, and give it some time to dry before you hook the battery back up. And then you'll get results like this. This is not the shine, this is just your basic cleaner. I like this particular look, the simple but clean look, not the shiny look. On my daily driver here, we will put the shine on there. So we're going to clean this one up next, and then I'll show you the before and after. So like I said, the sensitive areas such as fuse boards and computers, we're going to use the wipes. As you can see, this one was really dirty, and the wipes did a great job of removing that dirt. So get in there with around the computers, clean that up. Ignition coils, sensitive stuff like the ignition coils and throttle bodies, stuff like that. Like I said, you can use the rags with the cleaner spray directly onto the rag and wipe everything down. Or you can use the wipes, and then like a valve cover or a cylinder head or the front cover. Then you're going to use the engine degreasers and cleaners and sprays, and spray that on there, and then you'll spray around the perimeter like I said, you don't have to worry too much. These are designed to get wet. They do have weatherproof, weather-resistant sealants in all the sensors and connectors. We just don't want to force water and chemicals in there. So we just lightly spray it and then wipe everything down, and then we can rinse the main stuff off, and then we'll thoroughly dry it with compressed air, all the nooks and crannies down here. That's why I recommend using the air nozzle. That way you can get down into the areas like this, and you can blow the water out and dry everything off. This is really critical for getting everything nice and dry. It's going around all the areas and nooks and crannies and dry everything off with compressed air. So I got the daily stage 1 clean, so that you can see the engine bay is pretty clean now. Now we're going to use the shine foam, the protective shine. You just spray it on the engine lightly, or you can spray it on a rag and then wipe it into the plastics and stuff. And this is going to help protect the plastics and rubber pieces. It kind of restore the plastic shininess back to the plastics and wipe everything down. And as you can see, that looks amazing. Super clean there. So you can either go for the super clean, shiny look, or you can go for the basic, just simple, clean look, the way I particularly care for my cars, the look, just clean. No shine, no nothing, just basically the way they were manufactured. That's the look I like, and that's the look I go for. All right, as you can see, with a little bit of elbow grease, you can get your engine super clean. If you guys need to pick up any of the products I use in the video, from the tools to the products, links will be down in the description. I'm Brian from How to Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching and encourage you to subscribe.